I've been meaning to get my hands on today's gun for a while, but new guns come out and the latest and potentially greatest gun hits the shops, and this kept getting pushed back on the review list. Was I wrong to push it back? Have I missed something? And have I been remiss? Hello and welcome to AAR. Today it's probably another catch-up review. I have with me in all its army green splendour and soft touch feel the Kral Puncher Breaker Bullpup. And I must admit that I was a little less than overexcited about reviewing this in the past, for no apparent reason really. I suppose it's a little like putting cheese on chips. My initial reaction was, what? Oh no. Then you try them and realise what you've been missing for years. Let's see if the Kral has the same effect on me, shall we? The Walkaround first then. The surprise initially was when I lifted this out of the box. The feel of this stock was very Weihrauch HW110-esque. Now I realise that not everybody likes the soft touch finish to their guns, but I find it very comfortable, and this one really does feel like my HW110. So far, so good, and I'd only taken it out of the box at this stage. This is a simple two-colour combination of the green and black, and to me, less is more. I often don't like things to be too fussy. Starting from the front then, the first thing you notice is there is no silencer with it. And believe me, without one, as you would expect, it is somewhat loud. Ironically enough, you would be surprised just how many people, though, like their guns to make some noise. Me, I like to keep the neighbourhood happy and prefer the quieter life all round. So, Weihrauch silencer fitted and much better. The overall length of the Kral without aftermarket silencer is 71.5 centimetres or 28.25 inches and tops the scales with a scope on at around about 4 kilos. The barrel is a 50 centimetres long item, which means it's going to be a full length with the side lever cocking action set quite far back. Again, I don't mind this because you have the option to cock with your left hand without coming off target. Hopefully that longer barrel will make its difference known in the target work later. Above the barrel is the scope rail, which is the wider, more military style that is being adopted by so many these days, Picatinny rail. Now before I forget, this has a fairly budget scope fitted, and at the time I didn't have any medium or higher mounts available, and this does need those. Don't try to get away with low mounts, which I've used here, because you really can't line your eye up with the scope properly. This does have an adjustable cheek rest, but it is horizontal adjustment only and won't cure a low mount issue. You know, that's not the gun's fault at all. This was my fault, and in spite of having this all wrong, it was still a surprise when it came to the target work. Let's look at this side lever, because again I was pleasantly surprised on how smooth this action was. A nice pop-open action initially, then a really nice firm but not overly heavy action to cock, and then click back into place. That's nice. I could be really picky and personally opinionated and say I would prefer the arm to be black rather than shiny metal. But just how picky does anyone want to be? Whilst we're on this side, below the side lever is the safety, which again is a very Weihrauch-esque and is a simple rocker with push forward for fire, back for safe, and is again just right with a clear click, nothing vague about it. In front of this is the trick part, a power adjuster wheel. Now the wheel is on this side, but the indicator markings are on the left hand side. This is a clickless adjuster, so to tell you exactly what the power settings are is not just a simple activity, and I opted for maximum and minimum figures for you. At full power, I saw 11.9 foot-pounds, and it was pretty regular around the 11.8 foot-pound figure. I was indeed impressed with its overall consistency. Wound down to the lowest setting, I saw 6.3 foot-pounds, so approximately half of full power. This is, of course, a sub 12 foot-pound UK version, and as you would expect, it will have a full range of powers in between. Below all that is the stock, of course. Now, this is the synthetic version, but various wood finishes are available as well if you prefer. Then I noticed the small push button at the front, and being a typical gadget loving bloke who was already starting to really like this gun and wondering why I'd taken so long to give it a try, suddenly I was won over. What a simple but sensible idea. A compartment to keep your spare magazines in. I love it. Working my way back to the front where we started, there is the filler port, which has a nice twist dust cover over it. And like so many others, the manometer or air gauge is on the end of the air cylinder, which is a 200 bar 280cc item. Putting it at the business end is never a favourite of mine, but it certainly focuses the mind and does make sure you're practising safety principles when you're checking it. At this point on the touchy-feely part, I'm really quite taken by this little item. This one is the 177 caliber version, and the easy load magazine holds 14 rounds in this caliber and a slightly lower 12 rounds in the .22 caliber. Loading this magazine is pretty easy. It's a simple process of rotate in the direction of the arrow, drop in the first pellet, and then backfill until all are loaded. Once you've got it loaded, slot in from the right, and you're ready. One of my favourite things about this is the lock open after last shot to prevent you from dry firing it. What about accuracy? Well, here goes out at the usual 40 metre range using 8.44 grain JSBs. Power wheel set to max. Well, I'm impressed. When I zeroed the scope in, it was really windy, and even then I was impressed with the accuracy of this. I do wonder why I left it so long to try this Kral, because it has impressed me with its UK price tag of less than £480, and what you actually get for that money. It includes 3 magazines in the box. Well, I say impressive. The one problem was, in this box, 2 of the 3 magazines were .22 caliber, and 1 was the correct 177 caliber. Best to just make sure your retailer checks that before you get it, to save any disappointment by the time you get home. Would I buy it or recommend it? Yes, I would. And this feels like a very capable and nicely made gun for target work or pest control. It will need a silencer though, because without it, it's got quite a bark. Overall, yes, I am very impressed. Give it a go if you get the chance. Hopefully you've enjoyed it today. If so, please give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Don't forget to subscribe, click the alarm bell, follow us on Facebook, take a look at the AAR website, and of course, make sure you try cheese on your chips next time if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and shoot safe, and we'll see you next week.